Hello, this is Mr. Soy. In this video, we're continuing our lesson 8.2.2, where we're looking at trying to solve quadratic equations. In the previous video, we looked at the three different forms: the standard form, the factored form, and the vertex form, and kind of talked a little bit about features of them that are on our graph, and also what types of ways we might be able to solve a quadratic if I have that form. Well, here we're going to look at very specific ways to solve a quadratic, and the three different ways we're going to look at, although the graphing will be in another video because I want to show you how to use your TI-84. But in this video, we're really going to look at and stay focused on zero product property and then solving when I have it in vertex form. Okay, so let's take a look down here at the zero product property. It states that if I have two things multiplied together, A times B, and that's equal to 0, then the only way that that can be true is if A is equal to 0 or B is equal to 0. Or they could both be equal to 0, but that's basic property. Think about it. The only way I can get a 0 when I multiply two things together is if one of them is 0. There's no other way. Any other numbers that I would plug into A or B is never going to give me 0 when I multiply. So the only way that I can get it is if one of those is equal to 0. Well, we're going to exploit that property and be able to solve that when it's in factored form. So let's look at an example and walk through how we can solve it using this zero product property. So the example I'm going to put up here is the following. Let's say I factored a quadratic, and when I did, I ended up with x plus 4 times x minus 9. Okay, so that's factored form. You can see that my leading coefficient is 1. Not that I need to worry about that. And so I've really got A times B, and when we set that equal to 0, now we can use our zero product property. But that makes sense because if we're trying to find our x-intercepts, then we know that the y portion of the equation has to be 0 because at the x-intercept, y is always 0. And so this is what we're trying to solve. Okay, so the zero product property tells me if I have A times B equal to 0, then either A is equal to 0. All right, let's write that down. This is A and this is B. Then either x plus 4 equals 0 or x minus 9 is equal to 0. One of them has to be 0 or we can't be equal to 0. Okay, so look what's happened. Now I've got two pieces here, two equations, and they only got one variable in each equation. And I can actually solve this. So for example, this is really just x plus 4 equals 0. I can subtract my 4 over, and I end up with x equal negative 4. Okay, over here I can do the same thing. Take the parentheses away, and now I can simply add 9 to both sides, and I end up with x equals 9. If we were to graph this, we would see that indeed that x equals 9 and x equals negative 4 are the x-intercepts for that quadratic. So by putting it in factored form and setting it equal to 0, we can find our x-intercepts, which we also now know is known as the roots, zeros, because we set it equal to 0, and most importantly, the solution to this quadratic. So x equals negative 4 and x equals 9 is the solution to this quadratic. Okay, so here we're given a vertex form of a quadratic, and we set that equal to 0. It's vertex form because I can pull the vertex of my quadratic right out of the equation, and in this case, that would give me a vertex of, at the point negative 6 comma negative 2. Remember, it's x minus h plus k. So we keep the sign of the k, have to reverse the sign of the h. But this would give me my hk, which is indeed the vertex of my quadratic. And we'll look at that in more detail. But what I really want to do here is I really want to be able to solve this quadratic. So I've set it equal to 0, and I'm going to try to find those x-intercepts again. Well, look, we can just treat this as a regular equation that we can solve using our regular techniques. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. 2 times x plus 6 squared minus 2 is equal to 0. And I'm just going to start moving everything to the other side that I can, as we would with any normal equation, because my goal is to get x equals something, right? Okay, so let's take a look. I can move the 2 by simply adding it on both sides. That's easy enough to do. Cancels here. On that side, I end up with 2. And over here, I'm left with 2 times x plus 6 quantity square. Okay, that's easy enough. Well, now, let's see. I need to be able to have the x plus 6 squared by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2, and as long as I do it on both sides, I'm good. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. And so now I'm left with x plus 6 quantity square equal 1. Okay, well, we've solved things like x squared equals 4, and we just simply take the square root on both sides, and we get x equal 2. Well, we're going to use that same technique here, where I've got the square, but as long as I take the square root on both sides, I can solve this and get rid of my square term. Okay, so I'm going to do the square root of x plus 6 square, and I'm going to do the square root of 1. Okay, well, the square and the square root cancel each other, and so all I'm left with is x plus 6 equal, well, here's where it's interesting. Remember that when I have a square, there's 2 possible solutions. So this is really going to be equal to plus or minus the square root of that, which the square root of 1 is simply 1. It's plus or minus because there's 2 possibilities. For example, if I have negative 2 and I square it, that would give me positive 4. And if I have positive 2 and I square it, I get positive 4. So when I'm finding the square root of 4, well, it can either be a positive 2 or a negative 2. It's the same situation here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to recognize that. I'm going to split this out into 2 different equations. I'm going to have x plus 6 equal positive 1, and then I'm going to have x plus 6 equal negative 1, because there's 2 possible solutions when I take a square root. Well, now I can simply solve this. Let's take negative 6 to move it to the other side, and I get x equals negative 5. Excellent. And then over here, I do the same thing, subtract my 6 on both sides, and when I do that, I end up with x equals negative 7. And so therefore, our solution to this quadratic, or our x-intercepts, are going to be negative 5 and negative 7. And if we graph this, we would actually see it cross the x-axis at x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 7.